So you're here because you want to start a SaaS business, but you're struggling to come up with an idea. The idea is one of the most important parts of any SaaS business, so it's right to be doing your research and looking how to come up with the right idea before pumping money in development. And while I am a big believer that execution is more important than ideas, you still want to make sure that you're going in the right direction when you start. So I brought together this video which takes you through 3 ways to come up with SaaS business ideas that I've developed from my personal experience of going through a 15-month SaaS entrepreneurship course where I created a SaaS business that got offered £290,000 worth of seed funding, which, by the way, that startup ended up getting 0 customers. So yeah, not too much to scream about, but I did learn a ton. However, I've used all of those learnings and that experience to create a new SaaS business, which I've currently got the beta version being paid for by over 40 businesses, and I've got over 400 businesses on the public waiting list. So I've got a ton of experience and a little bit of success with SaaS businesses. So all 3 of the methods I've used personally in order to create SaaS businesses. So feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm currently documenting growing my SaaS business and SEO agency to £300,000 monthly recurring revenue. So I'm not just sharing it from reading out of a book. This is genuine experience that I'm sharing. So before I actually take you through those 3 steps, I'm going to talk about a principle that I think is extremely important when it comes to thinking of any SaaS idea. And that principle is around creating something that people are actually willing to pay for. There's loads of ideas flying around. You can probably sit here and write down 10 different SaaS ideas if you really tried hard. However, just because it's an idea doesn't mean people are going to pay for it. At the end of the day, if you're going to create a SaaS business, the reason that so many people care about SaaS in the first place is because of money. Everyone sees the exits it gets, and people want that reoccurring revenue, which allows them to have cash flow and potentially allows them to get a big exit. But before you get all of that, you need to make sure that your SaaS idea is demand-based. Now, I'm a massive fan of demand-driven entrepreneurship, and this was something created by Bill Owlett, who is the managing director of the Martin Trust Center for MIT Entrepreneurship. So he knows his stuff, and he created the disciplined entrepreneurship framework. And essentially what this is a 24-step process that shows you systematically how to find demand, map out the product that you're selling and who you're selling it to, and then scale that product. And basically, to sum up that book in just 10 seconds, he always tells you to make sure that you're doing things based upon demand. Make sure that before you set out, you actually know whether people are going to pay for the product that you build. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Which takes me on to the first way in order to come up with SaaS ideas, and that is start a service-based business. Now, what I mean here is start a business in a sector that you're interested in, that you can generate cash flow and gives you hands-on experience within a niche. This is such a good idea because you're getting experience in an area which you can then use in order to create a SaaS business. Look at someone like Iman Gadzi. He created an agency that he scaled to multiple 7 figures in revenue, which gave him experience around how to create and grow an agency. He then created an info product, a course, teaching people how to create agencies. He's then created a software which he upsells from his courses into. That flow of taking his experience to create an info product and then a SaaS business is perfect because he's got all the experience, he has the target customers, all he has to then do is build a SaaS product on top of it. The service-based business gives you the experience, the info product gives you the demand from target customers, and then the SaaS business gives you something to funnel that demand into. And while I'm not telling you have to create an info product like Iman Gadzi, what I would say is you start off by creating a service-based business that gives you the experience to then build the SaaS. And there's 2 key reasons behind this. First of all, you're going to live and breathe the sector that you're ultimately going to create a SaaS business in. You're going to feel the pain yourself. You're going to understand the processes. You yourself are going to be your target customer, which is going to give you a fantastic head start when it comes to creating the SaaS business, because all you're going to do to begin with is solve the pains that you're facing on a day-by-day basis. For example, if I didn't have a 6-figure SEO agency and also a travel blog that is on Squarespace, I wouldn't have the experience in order to create my Squarespace SEO plugin. At the end of the day, I am my own customer. I know what product that I would use, so it made it really easy to get started, and also I was tied in with all the communities where my target customers are in the first place, because I am my target customer. Additionally, if you're living and breathing the industry on a day-by-day basis and you wouldn't even pay for the SaaS product that you're building, then you know before you've even started that there probably isn't going to be demand for it. So start in the trenches, start getting experience, and then identify that SaaS idea off the back of it. Secondly, by having a service-based business, you're going to have the cash flow that you can then invest into creating your SaaS business. So once you've got your idea, you've then got the cash flow, you've then got the foundations to then build that SaaS business off the top of it. Because trust me, building a SaaS business is expensive. I'm currently investing over £10,000 per month into my SaaS business, and that all comes from my SEO agency, which gives me the experience and the cash flow to create the SaaS business. And as a final point, if you don't enjoy being in that industry in the first place, if you don't enjoy your service-based business, then you're probably not going to enjoy creating a SaaS business there too. So it can then make you realize that you should be coming up with a SaaS business idea in a different area, because the average SaaS exit takes around 7 years. So if you don't truly enjoy the area that you're trying to come up with an idea in, then you're probably not going to get to the riches which probably made you want to do SaaS in the first place. Now, onto the second method in order to come up with SaaS business ideas. You need to go and interview target customers, interview people in the industry. Whether or not you have a service-based business or you've got experience in the industry that you want to come up with SaaS ideas, you're going to have to interview target customers, because these are ultimately going to be the people that will pull out their checkbook in order to pay for your SaaS, and they're the ones that are facing the pains on a day-by-day basis that your SaaS can alleviate. This is something that I did with my first SaaS business, where I got offered £290,000 worth of seed funding. Through the entrepreneurship program that I was in, they paired us up with a company. That company provided us access to employees at the company who we interviewed. We mapped out their processes on a Miro board to understand what they did on a day-by-day basis and where the pain points are that were either slowing them down or costing them money. And we even went to site to actually see what they did on a day-by-day basis. So we got all of the experience, and that enabled us to come up with a SaaS product, to come up with the ideas that ultimately enabled us to create a product that then helped them solve those problems. That can give you a pretty good indication whether there's demand for the product, because if you email or drop a message on LinkedIn, Instagram, 100 people within the area that you want to come up with a SaaS idea and ask them for 15 minutes of their time to learn about the pain points that they're facing on a day-by-day basis, if you find that no one wants to speak to you, as long as your messaging is right, that's maybe an indication that there isn't demand in the first place. So do a little bit of digging first, get face time in front of those target customers, and who knows, by questioning them and identifying their pain points, they could even be your first customers when you launch your SaaS product. One little caveat here, and something that I faced in my first SaaS business that ended up getting 0 customers, is make sure you get the commercials right. Don't get in bed with a company who isn't going to give you the ideas, who isn't going to let you create a SaaS product that is ultimately going to be used by their competitors. Because at the end of the day, you want to start something, you want to create something that's scalable. And trust me, I know this from experience, it's a painful one. At all costs, whatever you do, avoid signing NDAs, avoid getting into any complicated commercial agreements, because it's just going to slow you down and it ruins the whole point of why you want to get into SaaS in the first place. Now, for the third way to come up with SaaS business ideas, this is around looking for software lookalikes in other target industries, niches, or fields. And the reason why I say this is because there's a saying that goes something like, good artists create, great artists steal. And I think this is especially true in the SaaS industry, because there's loads of copycat businesses which all they did, they took an idea from one space and then applied it to the other. You know, don't try and think too hard around your SaaS idea. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I think that execution is probably the most important with a business's success or failure. So taking an idea from another area and executing it perfectly in another can be one of the easiest ways in order to get a SaaS idea and then scale it to riches. For example, if any of you have ever been to Bali, you've probably used an app called Gojek. Gojek isn't anything special. Gojek is basically Uber in Asia. It's the same principle. You can order cars, you can order food, you can get taxis wherever you want. All Gojek is Uber in Bali. And you can apply the same principle to pretty much any niche. For example, if you've done much research in the SaaS industry, you've probably seen how people say things like the Uber for X, the Airbnb for Y, for example. This is because when you talk about a big company that everyone understands and apply that business model to another niche, people get it very easily, and it's a fantastic way to come up with ideas. An example of this is a company called Boatsetter. Boatsetter is basically a business that allows you to rent boats from local boat owners with or without a captain. It is basically the Airbnb for boats. It isn't a revolutionary idea by any shape or form. It's basically an idea taken from one niche, Airbnb, for rental properties that's been applied to boats and yachts. So not only does that enable them to get off the ground really quickly because the idea is there, they can copy Airbnb's interface and business model, but also when they go to investors, it's very easy to understand. When you say that Airbnb for boats, you immediately piece them together. And that's something that can be easy for you to do when coming up with SaaS ideas. Take a big business and apply it to the different niches that you may want to be into and see if any of those stick. I use this with my own SaaS business. My SaaS business is a Squarespace SEO plugin, which has been based upon Yoast SEO for WordPress. So Yoast is basically a WordPress SEO plugin that gives you a traffic light system on whether your SEO follows best practices. As you can see, it shows whether you're following things, it gives you positive reinforcement, and also tells you things that you need to improve, as you can see here. It's a pretty simple concept. However, I've seen how popular it is across WordPress. There's a common saying and a common misconception that if you've got Yoast SEO put into your WordPress website, you've got SEO sorted. I was then told by a friend that people within the Squarespace community were asking why there wasn't a Yoast for Squarespace. All I did then was type that into Google, after which I saw 50 people per month were searching for a Yoast for Squarespace. However, when I went through the search results, I saw that there wasn't one. In fact, there was one before, but however, I found that they were now scamming people because their plugin was no longer supported. After digging a little bit deeper, I then saw that Squarespace SEO plugin had 210 people searching per month. So there was a clear demand for a Squarespace SEO plugin and a Yoast for Squarespace. However, again, when I scrolled through, I saw that it didn't exist. In fact, you can still see on blogs that they're saying that Squarespace doesn't have a Yoast SEO plugin. So this was a clear demand because people were writing articles about it. I could see that people are searching every single month for the product that I eventually went on to build. And I had a clear example in a different niche, i.e. Yoast, that I could then copy and apply towards the Squarespace niche. And that's exactly what I did. I span up a landing page where I got over 200 businesses sign up for the beta launch. I then launched that product to that beta waiting list in order to get initial feedback and initial revenue. And then I'm now scaling up in order to launch this plugin to the public. And as you can see here, things are coming on really nicely. We're also about to go for a rebrand. And that all came from looking at a business that was doing well in another niche, seeing if there was demand, speaking to customers and looking at things on the internet, and then created a product which is ultimately already having customers paying for, which I'm hoping will get thousands of users before the end of the year. And this is going to help so much because if you don't have too much SaaS experience, having something to copy, i.e. a business in another sector, you can copy their business model, UI and UX, flow of sign up, and even other things, which is going to enable you to take that idea to concept to launching it much faster. Now, I'd just like to point out that these three methods are just three of the methods that have come to my head that I've used. There's plenty of others, such as following trends. You know, AI is so hot at the moment, and you can take AI trend in one niche and apply it to the one that you've got experience in. There's then looking at top apps which have loads of 1-star reviews and then creating a better version of that product within the same or different niche. Or you can look at pure keyword research like I did for my Squarespace SEO plugin to find out where there's demands that currently isn't being fulfilled. Now, once you've come up with your idea, it's now time to create an MVP. However, that's a topic for another video, so make sure you subscribe because not only do I share lots of SEO tips, I'm also going to be sharing a lot more SaaS content, such as how to create an MVP and how to get it to market to create a profitable SaaS business. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.